Hello viewers, this is Paladin of Odin, and this is some more Magic the Gathering Online. This is another episode of the Standard Commentary Series. And it looks like 4/5C control on bottom. On top, I'm not quite sure yet. It might be green-white scales, or it might be green-white aggro. But control mans up his Shambling Vent and attacks all in, going for Nissa. Plant token chump blocks Sylvan Advocate. Nissa takes 2. And back to green-white. Makes another plant token with the Nissa. Throws down the Silk Wrap to get rid of Sylvan Advocate. Leaves him with 2 mana open. He passes the turn. About the only thing that I can think of that he could play as an instant with 2 mana right now would be Silk Wrap, or not Silk Wrap, Dramoka's Command, but that wouldn't really help him because he just has a plant token. So control mans up his Shambling Vent again, attacking Nissa. He's just going to chump block with the plant token. And back to green-white. Makes another plant token with Nissa. And passes the turn. 4 cards in hand, 5 mana available, and he plays nothing. So back to control, who mans up the Shambling Vent again. He also has 4 cards, so I was expecting something like Siege Rhino, or Anafenza, or, you know, you could play Woodland Wanderer, or I've seen lists with Reality Smasher. So Stasis Snare on Flash to get rid of the Shambling Vent. That's a really good way of getting rid of that manland. So controls down a creature and a land. And Knight of the White Orchid. So I'm pretty sure that this is just a green-white aggro deck because Scales does not run Knight of the White Orchid. So control really needs to start playing spells here instead of depending on his lands. Goblin Dark Dwellers. Grabs back the Fiery Impulse. Sorry about that. And kills off the Knight. So now he's got a 4/4 Menace, still got 4 cards in his hand, and pretty much everything in his deck that control can play, he can play with 5 mana. And still no plays from green-white. I mean, he is down to 2 cards, but this really isn't looking all that good for him. Now, he can chump block the Goblin Dark Dwellers here. And then Nissa can make a plant token so that he can chump block them again on the next attack, provided control doesn't do anything about that. Five mana for Tassiger. Okay. And end of turn, secure the wastes. Okay, so he is going to have blockers for quite a while against this control deck. Unless, of course, control plays something like Kozilek's Return or Radiant Flames. But he -2s on Nissa, so all of his creatures get +1/+1 counters, and he passes the turn. So he has 6 2/2 warrior tokens and a 1/2 plant. It's not going to be very easy to get through combat-wise, but like I was saying, so Radiant Flames for 3, that will kill all of green-white's board. And he concedes. I mean, he was down to 2 cards, and that would be all of his board gone, so I can see why he did. So, let's go to game 2. Okay, fast start for green-white. He throws down Oath of Nissa, finds a Canopy Vista. And a fast start from Control. First turn Duress. So we'll get to see what Green-White has in his hand. He loses Gideon, ally of Zendikar, but he has Canopy Vista, Secure the Wastes. Oh, wow, that scrolled fast. Double Secure the Wastes, Oath of Gideon, and Surge of Righteousness. So Control throws down Sylvan Advocate, and Green-White throws down Silk Wrap to get rid of it. So they are staying remarkably similar at the moment in board state. And did he not have another mana? No. So unfortunately, Green-White is getting mana screwed at this point. But Control plays his fourth land and does nothing with it. So back to Green-White, who plays Oath of Gideon. In response, Control is going to play Abzan Charm to draw 2 and lose 2. I was just thinking, what could he be responding with? Because there's nothing he could do to counter that. But he was just, he is probably going to do that at the end of his turn anyway. Another Duress. We'll see what has changed. Not a whole lot, I imagine. Gets rid of Quarantine Field. Leaves him with double Secure the Waste, Surge of Righteousness, and Planar Outburst. And Siege Rhino. There's the big guy. So, fourth land for Green-White is really helpful for him. He's fallen behind quite a bit, but surprisingly, Control hasn't been able to monopolize on that very well. He must not have too much in hand that would give him some more momentum. So far, just one Siege Rhino, and then he passes it back to Green and White. Let's see, he could fire off a Secure the Wastes for 4. And he's attacking in with the core ally tokens. In response, Control fires off Abzan Charm to draw 2? Okay, so he drew 2 more cards. And I imagine he's just going to take the 2 damage. And he does. No reason to risk your Siege Rhino on some kind of a combat trick to kill it, especially when you're at 17 life and it's only 2 damage. And your opponent's in a situation where they're not going to blow a combat trick to do extra damage to you when you're this high on life. Virulent Plague! That had to have been a sideboard card, and it's really powerful at this point because that gets rid of his 2 tokens that he had, gets rid of, basically makes Secure the Wastes a dead card in his hand, and then if he gets Nissa, her tokens are instantly dead. Gideon, his tokens are instantly dead. It's just a wrecking ball to to a lot of the things that we've seen from him. And a third Abzan Charm to draw cards. I'm afraid that Green-White is pretty much screwed right now. I mean, we know he has Planar Outburst in hand, but so far, Control's only played 1 creature. Throws down the Outpost Siege, choosing cons. And things are just not looking good for Green-White, but Control chooses not to attack there. Sylvan Advocate is a 4/5. I am surprised that he didn't attack in there. That was pretty much 4 free damage that he missed out on. But Outpost Siege finds another Siege Rhino. And that is a really good time to find yourself another Siege Rhino. So, Green-White is going to be down to 14, and Control's up to 15. And Control has 2 4/5 tramples versus the 1 4/5 of Green-White. And now he's attacking in, when theoretically the 4/5s would just bounce off of each other. But he's got 3 mana open, Surge of Righteousness to kill off the Siege Rhino. So Control throws down a Morph, which is probably a Den Protector, which will, depending on the situation, probably get back the Siege Rhino because he needs creatures right now to push forward on his advantage. Silk Wrap to get rid of the Morph. Perfect timing for that so that he can't take advantage of it. He had no mana open to flip the Den Protector in response. So back to Control. Finds a land on top. And 6 cards in hand. And honestly, at this point, it doesn't matter what he plays as long as he plays something. So he gets Goblin Dark Dwellers, grabs Abzan Charm. That way he can exile the Sylvan Advocate and have a free board to attack into. And he still has 2 mana open, though I don't know what he would have in his deck that would cost those colors of mana. I mean, it's possible that he has something like an Ultimate Price, but I doubt it. But he attacked in with the Siege Rhino and hit him for 4. Green-White is in a pretty bad spot here. Honestly, I think I'd fire off the Planar Outburst right about now. And that's exactly what he did. You know, it was possible that he was hoping to be able to get to 8 mana before he had to do that. But, you know, this way you clear the board. That would have been 8 damage that you couldn't have done anything about. And now Control is looking at a Dramoka's Command off the top with no creature in play for him to do anything with. So he can't even play Dramoka's Command yet. But he does have 5 cards in hand, and Dramoka's Command only costs 2. Pulse of Marasa to grab back the Goblin Dark Dwellers, and Green-White concedes. Yeah, unfortunately, Green-White, he was behind the 8 ball pretty much that entire game, and he put up a good fight, but I just can't see how he could have overcome that. Not with all the recursion that Control had. Dark Dwellers to get back instants and sorceries, Pulse of Marasa to get back his creatures, Den Protectors, and just all the destroy effects, all of the, life loss, and all of that other stuff. He was just in a really bad way that whole game. So, unfortunately, he lost that one, but, that's just the way it goes sometimes. But that was Green-White Aggro versus 4/5C Control. And if you liked what you saw, hit that like and subscribe button for me, and I'll see you in the next video.